at a better time. But we're going live? All right, we're going live, people. We're going to try this again. I am live?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm live. So if there's anybody out there watching, welcome to the Campus Life live stream. Feel free to say hello in the chat so that we know you are there. Joining us here in the Zoom call right now, we have the awesome Ellie, Grace, and Caleb. There. They can only see me. Oh, okay, cool. Apparently people can only see me, so they can't see you guys. Cool. Yeah, I forgot. All right, so our game for today is Kahoot. Have you guys all played a Kahoot before?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. So you're familiar with what it looks like. I made a Kahoot with like some random campus life questions, some random questions about Jeff and I, and some random questions about random things. So yeah, we'll see. Some random things from campus life lessons that I could remember off the top of my head. So I'm gonna share my screen, right? That's what I do. Yep. And we want to go to that one. All right. So that is our Kahoot code. We'll probably want to make it full screen for when you have the questions, right? Okay.
No problem.
Okay, cool. All right, we have you three in there. Sweet. Hey, it's Anya. Awesome. Welcome to the game, Anya. Glad that you're joining us. Wait, maybe like one more minute for anyone else who might be watching on our YouTube stream. If anyone else wants to join us, like I was saying before, we are going to have random questions about campus life or campus life lessons, or a few random questions about Jeff and I, and a handful of just totally random questions that are just kind of goofy ones that I found that kind of relate to things. Yeah. All right. Is everybody ready? Give me a head nod. Okay, sweet. Let's get started here. So there are 24 questions. Each question has 30 seconds to answer. Which one of you guys got it correct?
I did.
You did? Nice. Yeah, I am 5'1.5". If I
I just guessed. I had no idea.
Super straight, then maybe I'm 5'2", but not really.
Yeah, the audio is super loud for the Kahoot, like really loud. And, like I'm sort of like blew up my ears.
Sorry about that. Trying to regulate that. All right, you ready for the next question? Nice. Okay, so how do you spell that big word in the campus life expectation? At first I was going to say, how do you spell confidentiality? And then I realized I can't say that. So I had to reword the question. Hey, two of you got it correct. Well done. Well done. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Question number 3. How old was Jeff when he first grew out his infamous beard? can you put this slightly this way so I can see the scoreboard? All right. One person got it correct. Who got it correct?
I thought it was 16,
Anya.
and I didn't trust myself enough.
All right. This goes with one of the last lessons that we did in person. What are the two things that I said were important in a conflict resolution? This is a tricky one. 10 more seconds. Nice.
Hey, 3 of you guys are actually paying attention.
Yeah, well done. All right. Anya is sneaking up there.
What years did Campus Life start at Oak Creek and Greendale?
This one you guys probably wouldn't know off the top of your heads, so some good educated guessing. Actually, I'd be super surprised if someone was able to get this correct or like guessed it correctly. Nice. 2, you got it right. 2011, which was Jeff and my senior year of high school, is when we started Oak Creek. And then 3 years later, we started at Greendale. All right. How did I say we should deal with our doubts? Coming up with the answers for this one made me laugh.
You guys can unmute yourself and you can talk during this.
Yeah.
As long as you're not sharing what you think the answer is.
Yes. Yeah. Wrestle them. That is correct. Although tickling them would be kind of fun.
That's what I was gonna put.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. What are the 4 areas that we've been talking about with our balanced life theme? Seven seconds. Nice. You got that one correct. Anybody? Yes?
No.
Oh, nice. I snuck physically in there to throw you guys off. This goes back to like the very beginning of campus life.
Are you popping your head?
The music? Yes, there is. I still hear music. Anybody else hear music?
I don't hear music. And why did I get what? Did we get kicked out of the Kahoot? Because I clicked the answer and wouldn't say I clicked it.
Oh, well, that's weird. Are you able to rejoin?
Did everybody get kicked out?
No, I mean we're still in the game, but it's not registering that we're clicking anything.
Oh, that's weird. All right, let's try it again with this one.
Yeah, it said it ran out of time.
Okay. Try with this one.
No, it still says 0 answers on there, even though I put mine in.
Huh. We might have to restart the game.
It says please wait. Hang on.
These ones work.
Couldn't get me into the game. They just kicked me out. Yeah, it just kicked me out.
Anybody else having any issues?
Yeah, it kicked me out too.
They kicked you out too? All right.
That's weird.
All right, we are gonna try and reload the game. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so we have a new code. And we'll just fly through the first, like we'll skip through the first questions. I don't know why I can hear music. I don't think so.
I actually have to go, so
Ellie also.
Okay, bye, Grace.
bye.
It was really good seeing you.
It's me.
Yeah.
Me.
Next week we're gonna try and do like a Zoom call game night on Thursday. So if you're free, you should join us.
Thank
sure.
God I am.
Okay. Bye.
All right, bye, Grace.
And ready to go?
All right. All right, let's get started here. Should we skip these ones since we did them already? Or you can re-answer if you know the correct, if you remember the correct answer from before.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay. This is gonna take forever.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's worth it, man.
Do you know what question we were on?
I think so. I think we were close to the one about core beliefs.
This was the first one that stopped working.
No, keep going.
Next one.
We still got a ways. Still got a few more. All right, we were at this one.
Hey, it worked.
One more answer. I'm assuming that I am Ellie also is Anya.
No, it's me.
It is
Oh, it's
not
you?
Anya. It's Anya.
Nice.
All three got it right.
Well done, guys. Someone was paying attention, or at least paid attention before, when you saw the answer before. All right, the 2 rules of campus life.
I just fully read one of the answers and I realized it was definitely not the right answer as soon as I read
Oh
it.
my gosh, yeah, double negative. Oops.
Don't
We all got it
You
wrong.
got it right.
Don't not. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I snuck that in there just to mess
Oh
with you.
man.
Sneaky move, Jackson.
Yeah, I tried to be a little sneaky. This one goes to our self-care lesson that we did back in January.
I was not at campus life, but I'm just gonna take a guess.
Yep, take a wild guess on what you think it is. False.
Thank you, I got it right.
They should not. Actually, teens and adults have different sleep schedules. Like
Teens go to bed later.
Yeah, sleep patterns. So yeah, teens actually it's okay if you go to bed later than your parents. All right, true false. Was this one of our sponsors this year?
A child's wish.
Scented candle. I've actually seen this one in the store. It's very confusing on what it's supposed to smell.
I feel like Ellie is gonna win either way.
Dirty breath.
I was actually doing, I think, the worst in the last round of this. I got all of the first few questions wrong, so
You're making a comeback. All right. What is the name of our
I feel like
pizza
I should know
delivery
this.
guy? If I'm completely honest, I'm not totally sure how he spells his name, but I made a guess.
so it could have assigned him his name.
All right. Click next. All right. Who invented pizza? This goes under
was the
the
French.
random questions.
I definitely looked this up randomly once.
Definitely Mario Kart.
Random. Mario
I definitely looked this up
Kart.
randomly once.
Definitely Mario Kart.
Random.
I
Mario
definitely looked this up
Kart.
randomly once. These are all random
Nice.
French guys.
Yeah, I
Did
made
you
up
make
the
that
other
up?
three.
Did you make
I
everything all
made
the
them all
other?
up except for the correct answer.
I mean, you're doing pretty good at that, so.
Uh-huh. When was pizza invented? I think it's kind of funny that there's like a specific date that people
Why
know
do you
that it was
think for
invented.
Christmas?
Except for, how does anyone really know? Like, people could have been making this on their own in their houses for so long, and then
Right,
like,
exactly. Like it's kind of weird. There's like one set like this was the one. Next. Let's see. Where was pizza invented?
I really hope this isn't a trick question.
It shouldn't be.
Oh no, did I click the wrong? I might have misclicked it.
It shouldn't be.
Oh no,
I
did I
think
click
it's
the wrong?
good.
I might have misclicked it.
It shouldn't be.
Oh no, did I
However,
click
do
the
you
wrong? I
know
might have
where
misclicked
in
it.
Italy it was invented? It shouldn't be.
Oh no, did I
However,
click
do
the
you
wrong? I
know
might have
where
misclicked
in
it.
Italy it was invented?
Mm. Do you actually look all these up about pizza? Bro, how'd you even know that?
Naples. Yep.
We're very quiet.
All right.
There's Jacqueline.
How do you spell the person that gives us our pizza? Or not our
Oh,
pizza,
okay.
our cookies. Yeah. Hey, who just joined us?
Casey just joined.
Hi.
Hey. How's it going, JC?
It's okay.
We are just in the middle of a Kahoot game.
I see that. I'm gonna try and join.
All right. So yeah, Triva, although her name is pronounced Triva, it actually is spelled more like Trivia, which is kind of an interesting fun fact.
Where's the game pin?
It should be towards the bottom
I
down
see
here.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. More random knowledge. Who invented the chocolate chip cookie?
Who is it?
Actually,
Fun
it
fact,
did
the
not know
chocolate
the
chip
answer to this
cookie
one.
was invented on accident.
Oh, really?
They were trying to make chocolate cookies, but they didn't have any baking chocolate, so they used chocolate chips. And when they didn't melt, that's how the chocolate chip cookie was created.
Huh, nice. I did not know that.
Neat.
Yeah, so some woman named Ruth made it. JC, well done. Rack some points there. All right. What was the first chocolate chip cookie called?
I can hear you. What was the chocolate chip first called?
I didn't know the answer to this one either.
Named after the one. Oh, it's chocolate.
Chocolate crunch cookie.
Oh no, chocolate crunch cookie.
Chocolate crunch cookie. Yep, nobody got that one right. All right. What are the names of Jeff and my chickens? This is actually a picture of our chickens. They're adorable.
Named by campus life student.
Waiting for one more answer. Nice. Two of you got it correct. It is Nuggets, Panda Lily, Hey Hey, and Gabby.
I could have sworn Nuggets. Someone talked about that and said that wasn't the name of one of them.
Nope, Nuggets.
Definitely Nuggets.
Yep, Nuggets is one of my favorites. She's also top chicken.
Aw.
She ain't gonna get eaten this time.
Nope, she rules the other chickens. Okay, fun fact, can a scorpion kill a chicken? Yes or no? That is true. Scorpion can. How many eggs can a chicken lay each day? The correct answer is 1.
That's not correct.
Yeah, it is.
No, they usually lay 1 a day, but they can lay up to 2.
Mm.
There are many breeds that actually lay 2 a day.
Oh, well, I got this one off of Kahoot, so I apologize for the wrong information.
I don't know about that one, you guys.
I'm sorry. That was my bad. All right. Number 23. Will chickens eat each other?
I know they also eat their own eggs and stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're basically cannibals. As long as you don't give them an opportunity to be one, then they won't because it's like a learned behavior. But if you have one in the flock, it will spread.
Cannibal chicken.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, one last question. This one should be easy. It better be easy.
Is that from the beard game?
Yes, sort of. Well, we brought this game to a youth group that we were talking to them about campus life. And so, yeah, I have to bring that game back to campus life.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was silly.
But I think the important thing is that you guys all answered correctly.
Yes. Yeah, that's very important that you guys all answered correctly. Good job, guys.
Anya.
Nice. 8 out of 24.
Also Ellie.
Very nice.
And Ellie.
Very nice.
Good job, Ellie.
Well done, Ellie.
You should feel very, very cool.
Thank you.
Oh, what a cool party.
Well, now I can just make it smaller. I'm trying to do all big.
Okay.
Ah.
All right. Can I close the coat?
Yep.
Sweet. All right. Very nice. So, Ellie, I will send you a $5 gift card. Congratulations on being our awesome winner. All right. So, Jeff is going to run through some some announcements. Also, just want to put out there for anyone who is listening over YouTube that you are able to join our Zoom call at any time. So I did send out the link both on Instagram and on Remind. So you are welcome to join at any time.
I'll send it out right now too into the chat.
Great. Yeah. So yeah, even if you can't join until later, that's totally okay. All right, Jeff, you want to take it away with the announcements?
Announcements brought to you by Toilet Paper Rummage Sales. You have a picture?
Oh, I do have a picture for that. I wish. Yes. Okay, ready?
By Toilet Paper Rummage Sale.
If it'll load.
Well, it was funny. Moving on.
Sorry, guys. I don't know why it's not showing up.
So this is the fun aspect of doing things live and off the seat of our fly is that sometimes they don't work properly. But we're glad you're here. We're glad you joined us. Got it. So, brought to you by toilet paper. It's nice to have, and you don't think about it until you don't have it.
Yeah, the picture was showing rummage sales of 2020 and showing all of the toilet paper that's going to be out since people have too much.
Yes. So it's just a good reminder to always be grateful of what you have. Sometimes we don't realize how grateful we are until we don't have. So just a reminder, follow us on Instagram. I think all of you guys do, but any of you guys out on the YouTubes, follow us on Instagram to make sure that you stay up to date with our reminders and notices and stuff like how to join the stream and become part of the Zoom call and stuff like that.
And if you don't have an Instagram, I also send out remind texts. And if you are not part of that and want to be part of that, let me know, and I will add you to our remind list.
Yes. Also, a really cool thing is our church youth group is doing like a class over Zoom that they're targeting towards people of your age, teenagers, on financial peace. And what it is it's a program that focuses on how we should think about money and how we should act with our money in a way that, one, keeps us out of debt, but two, allows us to have enough money to do what God wants us to do with it without being tied to debt. I know a big thing about America and the way that a lot of us have been brought up is like, hey, get a credit card, put it on debt, get a loan for it. It's only 8% interest. And what a lot of people don't realize is that over time you're actually losing. Well, one, you're tying yourself down to having to pay for something unless you want to lose it, and two, it actually costs way more in the long run to do that. And people have found themselves in tons of situations, bad situations, where they just can't afford to live with the debt that they do have. And so financial peace really talks about how God wants us to treat money, how we can stay out of debt without living, without not spending it on anything, just having a proper mindset of what our money is and how to spend it.
Yeah. And it also goes through like how to make a budget and things like that. Or like if you do accrue some debt, how to pay it off quickly. Jeff and I were able to buy a house at 22 years old. And one of the big reasons we were able to do that is because we were able to pay off any debt that we had, as well as we made sure not to accrue a whole lot of debt early on. And that's not the case for everyone. But we took this class when we were young and learned a lot of really good skills from it. So highly recommend it. It's going to be on Tuesday nights, and the cost is only $15.
Yeah, so it's really awesome. And the $15 also gets you access to all the other materials that the program itself, Financial Peace University, has. So think about it. Let us know. It's going to be really awesome. And there's going to be a bunch of people, and they're going to do breakout sessions over Zoom and stuff. People your age. So it's going to be really awesome. Let us know. Also, Jacqueline's going to be doing a ladies small group during the summer. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully we'll be doing that in person once people wise up and stop making everybody stay at home forever.
But we might have to start it over Zoom, which would be totally fine.
On that same vein, we're looking forward to our family dinner fun nights on Thursdays throughout the summer. What we do is we have people over and we cook food together, talk, hang out, do something outside, play some games, just have a good family night. A few of you guys have been, just Ellie. Anya, if you're on YouTube, she's been there too. They'll attest to how good it was, how fun it was. You want to say anything, Ellie?
It was a lot of fun and very food.
Yeah, so make something different or whatever, and it's just kind of like, as campus life, like we're more than just a club. I consider us to be a family, and so we're just like strengthening those bonds that we have as a campus life family, and hopefully we'll be able to do like outdoor movie night on our lawn again, or bonfires, and maybe a water fun night. I'm hoping like we can have one of them be sort of like our end of the year party kind of thing that we are not able to do in person this year. So yeah, it should be pretty cool. We will start them as soon as we get the okay that we can like start doing things in person again.
Definitely. Caleb, we're not doing a guys thing at the moment just because I'm working full time and I have a pretty demanding job. And there's a lot of things for me to do when I get home, so it's pretty hard for me to find time to schedule stuff. Maybe I'll try to find time to do an occasional one, but probably not one that's going to be like scheduled every week or anything like that.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Can I just join the ladies one?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Probably not. One thing though that you've been talking about doing is like with your trap shooting. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. So I guess I don't really want to put it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I guess it doesn't really matter. They'll never take us down. So one of the things that I'm really into is shooting. As many of you guys know, firearms, shooting, stuff like that. And so one of the things I did last year is I had a group of guys that went out every other week and we went trap shooting. And trap shooting, what happens is you take a shotgun and you go out to a field and they've got a machine that shoots these clays up into the air. They're kind of like tiny frisbees, and they shoot them in front of you and you shoot them with your shotgun. It's really fun. It's a good opportunity to learn about firearms and hang out with some people and just get to know them over a shared activity. So recently I got a second shotgun so I can take people that don't have a firearm themselves. You guys can come with me and I'll teach you how to shoot and be safe, and have fun. So it's something I really like to do. Hopefully I'll try to do that this summer as well.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah.
Also, okay, so moving on to announcements. Digital Snapchat, as always. If you need to talk to somebody, Jacqueline or I will make time for you if we can, over house party or Zoom or FaceTime or anything like that. Also, next week there will not be a Campus Life YouTube live stream.
This is the last one.
This is the last one of the year because actually we would be ending this around this time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the school year. Sad, I know. Kind of feels like we missed out on a whole lot because of all this Corona stuff. But we're gonna do what we can and keep going this summer. But instead of our Campus Life live stream, we're just gonna be doing a game night at 7. In lieu of that, kind of our year-end party type game night.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be not as fun as our in-person end of the year party, but it'll be just a little thing to hold us over until we can do something in person. So that will be next week, Thursday at 7.
So yeah, so that's all for my announcements.
Yes.
I'll allow Jacqueline to get back into it.
All right, cool. So this year, in case you didn't pick it up during the school year, we have been talking about balanced life. That's been our theme throughout the whole year, that we decided to focus this year on. How do we become healthier? How do we grow we looked at kind of just 4 areas of our life. So growing mentally, growing emotionally, growing spiritually, and growing socially, and investing in ourselves in those ways. And so I was trying to think of how do we wrap all this up? How do we what can I say to you guys to kind of wrap up this amazing year? And truly, this has been one of the most amazing Campus Life years ever. And I've been doing this for 8 years now. Even in spite of this quarantine, it has been amazing. Mostly because of you guys that are part of it every single week. And so let's wrap this up with something amazing. And so I wanted to talk about this idea of living intentionally. But first, I want to ask you guys, if you're willing to share, first question, do you feel like you've grown this year in any way, shape, or form? And if so, how? So does anyone want to share if they feel like they've grown this year, and if so, how?
I definitely have. I find Campus Life keeps me sane.
Nice.
I love meeting new people. I came in there and I was all nervous and everything, and I was like, "What if people don't like me?" And I got in there, and Ellie's like, "Oh, here's this sheet you can fill out. You can put your contact on here, and then we'll contact you with more information." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. Thank you."
Nice. Awesome. I'm super glad that have been able to just be a part of your life over these last couple months, and you joined just in time before all this craziness
COVID-19.
started. Yeah. Anyone else want to share?
So this has been a really big year for me in terms of growing too, because I started coming to Campus Life the same way you did, Caleb, super nervous, walking into this room full of people, not knowing anyone or anything. And so now to have had so many opportunities open up through being a part of Campus Life, as well as becoming a student leader within Campus Life and creating that for other people is really been wonderful.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Second question here. Of the different topics that we've talked about during this year, does any one in particular stand out to you as far as this is one that really resonated with me, or one that really helped me in a specific way, or one that was wow, I'm so glad we talked about this at Campus Life? Any come to mind for you guys? It's kind of a hard one because you have to think about well, we talked about, I was going to go to something that we made, and I kind of forgot. Let me see here.
It's hard to say oh, this one specific one stood out to me, because then I try to think of whichever one stood out to me. It's just a weird match together. They're all just kind of formed into one big Same.
Yeah. So this gives you kind of a little, I'll scroll through it, but yeah, these are some of the different things that we talked about this year. So relationship killers, core beliefs, self-talk, self-worth, comparison, investing in your faith, trust, purpose or meaning in life. We talked about bad things or unwanted gifts, stress, self-care, helping others grieve, fear, adding God to your life, identity and singleness, dating and sex, boundaries, doubt, conflict management, depression, anxiety, identity. Yeah, talked about a lot of things. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. I don't know about like I thought we had a lot of really awesome discussions this year, and it was cool just getting to like talk about different things with you guys and hear your thoughts on it and what was resonating with you guys. I want to share this video really quick about this is a video from one of the student leaders at Greendale, and she just shared a little bit about how she feels like she's grown this year and just some like a specific area that she's been working on in her own life as far as growth. So I'm going to try to share this. Okay, 1 second. Share computer sound. Okay. All right. You guys should be able to hear this.
Hi guys, Sarah here. Hope you're all staying safe and healthy during this time, and I miss life. As you may know, Jacqueline is finishing up this series on living a balanced life, and she just asked a couple of us to talk about what it means in our lives to live that balanced life, and how we make intentional choices towards that, and how we've grown over this last year. And I'd say one way that I have grown in this last year is that I've learned how to say no. And I mean, at the beginning of this year, I was on worship team. I was in the musical at church. I was teaching Sunday school and all that stuff. And this isn't to say like, look at me, I'm involved or anything, but it's just saying like, you know, I kept saying yes to everything people asked me to do at church. And I found myself getting very, very overwhelmed with all of my responsibilities. I didn't feel like I had enough time for family or homework or, you know, hanging out with friends. And I was feeling really bad because, I mean, I wanted to help people at church. I wanted to be there, but I just felt like I was there all the time. And I didn't have time for other things that I really wanted to do. And so then I sat down and I prayed. I was like, God, please just show me the things that you really want me to be a part of, and help me discern what I should and shouldn't be a part of anymore. And he really helped me decide what parts of that I was going to keep in my schedule. But he helped me really remember, like, it's okay to have time for family. It's okay to have time for homework. It's all about living that balanced life between your spiritual life and your mental and emotional aspects of that too. So that's definitely one way that I have grown in this last year, is that I've definitely become less afraid to say no, and I help when I can. But if, you know, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I don't feel as bad saying, you know what, I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed. So yeah, I think that covers everything. I hope I can see all of you soon, and hope you have a good rest of your week. Bye.
Awesome. Cool. So that was Sarah. I don't know about you guys, but that is an area that I struggle with, is saying no. I'm very, very easily for me to say yes to everything, and then feel like I'm drowning in too many things. And so that was cool. Awesome for Sarah to share that. So when we talk about like growth in our physical bodies, we experience both intentional and unintentional growth. You grew from a toddler into a teenager with like very little effort, right? Like you didn't have to put some thought into it and be like, okay, I'm going to grow a little bit bigger now. I'm going to get rid of some of this toddler chub around my stomach. You know, you didn't have to put a lot of thought into that. You also didn't really have a lot of control over how tall you would be or how big your feet were. If I had control, I would be like 4 inches taller. But yes, however, there is some intentional physical growth that you guys have experienced. If you wanted to grow stronger, you would start working out and intentionally, doing that. That's how I met Jeff, actually, is because I joined weight training in high school. If you wanted to become more coordinated, you might go out and join a sport or practice throwing a ball or do something that involves coordination of some kind. You're practicing that. I know Ellie has done, what's that called? The silks or the...
Lyra.
Yes, yeah. So doing that. If you wanted to build your endurance, you would have to intentionally start maybe practicing swimming or running long distances to build that up over time. Are you guys catching my drift here? So there's unintentional growth and there's intentional growth when it comes to our physical bodies, but this also translates into the non-physical as well. There are areas in our character that developed with very little effort at all, because they just were like part of who you are as a person. But there are other character traits that maybe aren't as innate that you actually have to put a great deal of effort into developing and strengthening. So in my own life, it is very natural for me to be very compassionate and merciful to people. Like I don't have to put a lot of thought into it. It just is naturally who I am. However, it takes a lot of effort for me to speak boldly to someone, or say something to someone that they might not want to hear. That takes a lot of effort. So conflict and things like that is not easy for me because I don't like confronting people. It's an area that I have had to intentionally worked on to try and grow in. For you guys that are here in the Zoom call, is there any characteristics that come really easy to you, or any that maybe aren't as easy to you that you've had to work on? Any that you would want to share?
I've been trying to make myself more self-disciplined and use this as a way to get myself to. So instead of getting assigned all my assignments on Monday and then waiting till Sunday night right before they're due and trying to finish all of my classwork, I've been trying to get myself to try to get up sooner on Monday and go through all of my classes and get as much of it done as soon as I can right away, because that's something I normally am really, really bad at.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good example of a steps that you're trying to do to put that into action. Awesome. Caleb, do you have any, or should I move on?
Honestly, I just try not to let others determine who I am.
Yeah, that can be hard. That can be a hard trait to try and work on or develop. Yeah, I know for myself, I can be kind of a people pleaser, and so that can be a hard one to try and break out of and be confident in who you are. Yeah, awesome. All right, so this idea of living intentionally, where you if you want to see growth in your life, mental or social, emotional, or spiritual growth, we have to choose to do that intentionally. And so the verse that I got this idea from actually comes from Ephesians, and we're going to attempt to see if I can pull that up. It's right there. Mm-hmm. Yep. There we go. All right, so let's see if we can share this. All right, so it comes from Ephesians 5, 1 through 2, and 15 through 16. It says, "Follow God's example, therefore, as dearly loved children, and walk in the way of love, just as Christ has loved us and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. Be very careful how you live." Where it talks about the word live, when it says be careful then how you live, the Greek word actually means to walk. And we can either walk aimlessly and wander around from place to place, or we can walk with purpose, with a set goal in mind. And then it talks about making the most of every opportunity. In other words, not letting a situation that you face go to waste. Even this quarantine that we're in, where it feels like we're just part of like one long, continuous, never ending day, trying to figure out, okay, how can we make the most of this situation that we're in, and not just letting it, the last 2 months of our life be a waste. The last part there, it says, Paul says that the days are evil. And what he means by this is that we're still living in a time that's before Jesus's return. And so since we don't know when that will be, we should be living each day like as if we might meet Jesus tomorrow. So don't put off investing in your spiritual life just because you want to have fun now and live for God later, when later is not guaranteed. So some discussion questions here. What does the idea of living intentionally mean to you? Not that one yet.
It can be something like deciding, this is the stuff that I find important in my life. This is what I'm going to spend my time doing, and making sure that you are spending your time in that stuff instead of like getting sucked into your phone or sucked into like watching like videos or playing a game or like listening to music or anything. And to especially like in this time where we are dictating most of where our time goes now, to say like, okay, this is what it is important to me. This is the time I'm going to force it.
Yeah, definitely making those very thoughtful choices about how you're going to spend your time, your money, your energy. Yeah, I think that's spot on. What are some things that could either hinder or distract us from trying to live intentionally? So I'll say like for my own life, like one that can sometimes like hinder or distract me is like my phone. And like I can very easily get sucked into like looking at social media for a half hour at a time or even longer than that, and not actually like accomplishing anything, or even just like not having like a set plan for the day, especially with this quarantine where like I don't really have a structured schedule anymore. And so I've had to like use self-discipline to make that for myself. But if I don't have a plan, then I'm not like, and I'm kind of like, I don't know what I should do today. And so those are some things in my own life that can hinder me from living intentionally. Okay. Well, if no one else has any thoughts, let's move on. So thought of 4 ways, or 4 things to think about, to help us live more intentionally in our lives. So the first one here, choosing to examine ourselves. I encourage you guys to do this, whether you realize it or not, at Campus Life very often, where when we talk about a different topic, looking at yourself and saying, okay, like where am I at in this area? Where are some areas that I need to grow? Giving yourself an honest assessment and almost putting like a mental mirror in front of yourself and saying, okay, like where are some areas that I'm lacking here, and things like that.
And with that, like something that's hard for me a lot of the time is being okay with saying I need to grow in this area and not just kind of like shoving that under the rug, and like really examine yourself and don't just like, oh, I might need to work on that, but I'm not going to pay attention to that part of it. So.
Yeah. And this can be scary at times, right? Because when we like examine ourselves, then we are opening ourselves up to realize that, hey, there's like some work that needs to be done, which can sometimes be messy, can sometimes be painful. Sometimes other people bring those things to us and we're like, no, I don't need to work on that. We can get defensive. The second one is choosing to invest in yourself. So choosing to do activities, choosing to read books, join classes, join clubs like Campus Life that help you grow. So not like if all we did was examine ourselves and say, oh yeah, I suck in this area, but then do nothing about it, then it's kind of pointless. But if we examine ourselves, we say, okay, this is an area that I'm struggling in, and then we choose to make steps to grow in that area, then we're going to see results. So if you're someone who maybe like doesn't spend money well and like you spend money like water, then maybe joining this financial peace class might be a good idea in learning how to make like good budgeting skills and things like that. All right, number 3, choose to make moments matter. So what I mean by this is when different situations arise, whether they are good or bad, looking at what you can learn from it. Because every single moment, even the small moments that seem like they don't matter at all, do, because we are setting patterns for ourselves. When we are going through a tough time, like look at what is your gut reaction to this? Is your gut reaction, this is terrible, this is the end of the world, like, and you're crumbling and falling apart? Or are you saying, okay, like, what can I learn from this? How do I move forward from this? Like, the more we practice responding to tough situations well, the easier it will be the next time. When things are going well, are we choosing to be aware of that and to say, okay, like, things are going well right now, but am I preparing myself for when things aren't going to go well? Or am I just like in la la land and unaware of like what could be coming around the corner? Number 4, the last thing is choosing to ask for help. So there are times when we see an area in our life that needs growth, and we might be struggling with figuring out how to grow in that area on our own. It might be something where we are struggling in a particular area and we need help. And so having either a trusted friend, a mentor, or an adult and asking that person for wisdom, finding someone who has struggled with something similar to you and can give you advice about how they overcame that specific struggle. For myself, I have found someone to be an accountability partner, and I've been able to share some struggles that I've had. And she's like someone who will pray for me, someone who will offer me advice at a moment's notice, someone who will, I can call and I know that she'll be there to listen when I'm going through something difficult, and someone who will point me back to Jesus when I'm feeling like I'm struggling. And also, another someone that you can ask is God. There are different areas in my life in which I myself might be incapable of changing in my own life. Character flaws that I just struggle with because I have a sin nature. And so asking God, okay, Lord, help me in this area. And there are so many times where I've had to say, okay, God, like I am struggling in this area and I need your help in knowing how to deal with this. And often when you ask the Lord to help you with a different character trait or something, he gives you a situation in which to practice that. It's like when you ask God, Lord, help me have better patience, he gives you an opportunity to show patience. And so just being aware of what you ask for. But like I said before, when you have those situations that come up and you respond to them well, the more you practice that, the more you will see better results in your own life. Do you have anything you want to add to those? I said all the wise stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So Jeff gave me the nod of approval. All right. So I'm going to challenge you to do something to wrap up tonight. If you have a piece of paper in your life or around, making a little piece of paper, and you could even do this on your phone, but I did it on a piece of paper. Finding a piece of paper and breaking it into 4 sections. And labeling them with the 4 sections that we talked about this year. So socially, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And thinking about, okay, the different things that we talked about at Campus Life, thinking about your own life and in areas in which maybe, you recognize, okay, these are some areas that I struggle. These are some areas that I want to improve on. My challenge for you would be to put one thing in each category as far as one way in which you would like to see yourself grow, or one way that you would like to see just change in your life, or a character thing that you want to work on. So maybe socially, it's, this quarantine has made you very aware that you have some, relationship challenges with maybe family members or things like that. You want to work on that. Maybe spiritually, okay, like, how can I invest more in my spiritual life? How can I give more time to God, or have a quiet time? Practices that you can be putting into place for your mental health and your emotional health. How are you feeling about different things? Are you doing things that are bringing you joy right now? Things like that. So I challenge you to put one thing in each category, and then below that, try and think of one step that you can take to work towards growing in that area. So it's easy, like we said before, to, sometimes examine yourself and see, okay, yeah, I suck in this area. But then what is one step that you can take to start working on that area? So maybe that one step is to ask someone for help. Maybe that one step is to put some kind of practice in place. Maybe if you know that you have a hindrance in your life, like your phone, or not having like a set schedule in your life. Perfect, Ellie, that looks great. What are some things that you can put into place? And so I would challenge you to put something in each of those categories, and to put this up somewhere where you're going to see it often. So I'm going to put this up in my office, right above my desk, where I'm going to see it often. Maybe it's putting it in your bedroom in a place where you're going to see it. If you have it on your phone, maybe putting it like on your lock screen where you're going to see it all the time. But just something so that it's a reminder to you, because when we do things like that and we put them at the forefront, then we are taking steps to live intentionally and not just like wandering aimlessly and maybe I'll grow in this area, maybe I won't, but not putting too much thought into that. Ellie, did you want to add something?
I did. So when you said like put it somewhere you'll see it, that made me think. For a while, like just to get myself started for the routine, I put like my school schedule up on the wall and post-its, and then like all my assignments when I had meetings with teachers.
Nice.
Especially if you have different colors of post-its, I think that would be really great to do. I can do like for emotionally, you could do that and like put it up on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is an awesome suggestion. Yeah, I love post-its and like something colorful, it'll catch your eye. And like as time goes on, you might find yourself like adding more things to those lists. Wow, that's a lot of colors. Ellie has a stack like this big. That's awesome. Yeah, so you might find yourself like adding to those different areas as time goes on, which is cool. And you might even find yourself like, wow, like I actually have grown in this area, and like, but this is another area that I can start to work on. And so you might cross one off and like add another one in. And so I encourage you to do this, because it just helps with being more purposeful in the choices that you're making, and actually intentionally growing instead of like, well, maybe you'll grow in an area, maybe you won't. 17 colors. Wow, that's amazing. All right, so the last thing I want to share with you guys is a video that was made by one of our other student leaders at Greendale High School. And she made a video about just some different ways that she has been working on growing and just trying to get balanced life. She told me like this girl, she is a busy addict, much like myself, and she struggles with like rest. And even during this quarantine, she's been making herself like too busy, and she's recognized that. But these are some different areas that she's been working on. And so I'm going to share this with you so that you can see this video.
Guys, it's Paris, just a cute little bunny. Anyways, so to wrap up this year in balanced life, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself and what I've been doing. Obviously with the COVID thing, it's been pretty crazy, like nothing's normal, but I'm still trying to like balance out my schedule. I'm obviously not perfect, and I obviously need more attention to others, but I'm going to start off with the mentally and emotionally. So for me, it's been a little crazy because my 3 cousins and their pregnant mom has been living with us like a week before quarantine started. So there's always more people in the house. There's always grocery shopping to do. Like we grocery shop like 4 times a week, sometimes twice a day to make meals. And sometimes my family's not on the same page just because we're different culturally kind of thing. And they're also not necessarily living for Christ. They're not necessarily Christians. Sometimes there's a barrier between there. For me, I just try my best to be like loving or kind, or sometimes just going in my room and like not worrying about the situation just because I know it can get worse with my input. There is times when I step in, but I'm just trying to be caring and loving towards others, even though it's really hard sometimes, just because I know like God placed us to be with them for a reason and help them out in this short period of time, and it'll soon just become a memory. And it's not worth my mental health for me to get so worked out about situations that probably won't mean much in a couple of months. So yeah, socially, obviously we have to do a lot of social distancing. Thankfully, I'm still with the job. I have a job that's really nice, and I have a Christian boss. He's super cool. But I don't necessarily talk a lot with my friends outside of school. I know you guys might be like, that's such a bad thing, just because I'm super busy a lot with work. But I do manage to spend time and talk with my best friends as much as possible. For example, yesterday my friend was going through something and she just had like this breakdown, listening to worship music, and she wanted to just talk to me about it and like how God was revealing something to her as she was listening to the music. And that also brings me spiritually, like to my spiritual part of this. Just my friend saying that to me inspired me to listen to worship music, and I started listening, and we had like the same thing going on, like two different households still connecting with one body of Christ. It was really cool. I was also praying and asking for forgiveness because I know during this time it's really easy to sleep in and get lazy. And I'm like, oh, but I have work, so I wake up really late, and then I have homework, so I go to bed really late. And there's not necessarily a balance there. That's something I'm still trying to work out. I know obviously with summer coming soon, it'll be a little easier without school. But making sure that we're spending time with Jesus and getting to know him more, especially because we have so much free time for the most part, and it can help us really grow in our faith. Spending extra time now makes it easier when things get busier to manage your time and knowing when you can spend time with him. It also helps deepen and grow your faith, because once you're with other people socially and they don't agree with you, sometimes it's really easy to like step away from your faith and be like, okay, I'm not going to agree with you because I'm right here. But the more you learn now, the more you would feel like there's no doubt, like, this is who I am. I know who I am in Christ, and no matter what someone tells me, I know who I am. And so learning about yourself now, growing deeper with your faith is super important. So once you're socially active with people again, you will have no doubt that your faith is stable and without question and without doubt. So yeah, that's something I'm working on, consistently reading my Bible and my devotions, even if I don't have time to read my Bible, even though I should. That's something I should be working on. And then I pretty much talked about everything. Just one other thing socially, I brought this bunny with me. There is a family that just started going to my church, which is really cool, and we became friends with them right before quarantine. So one thing I did, you guys saw in the last live stream or whatever, that I made a TikTok making care packages, and one of them went to their family. So the other day they actually came to my house and they gave us a care package and this cute little bunny that I'm obsessed with. It's super adorable. But yeah, sorry I went over. Hopefully this was just like a break, a refresher for you guys. We're all going through the same thing. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. And yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Super thankful for Paris willing to share that. Just being like real and honest. She's like very real with like areas that she's doing well in and areas that she's still trying to grow in. And I mean, that's the case for all of us, right? Like, we recognize areas in which like we're working on, we're seeing growth, and other areas where it's like, yeah, we're still working on it, and that's okay. And we can encourage one another in that. And so if you like want some encouragement, if you want someone to like help you, like be accountable or whatever, Jeff and I are more than willing to be those people in your corner, encouraging you and helping like remind you like, hey, how are you doing this in this area? Things like that. And so we can grow together. Yeah. So unless anyone else has any thoughts or anything that they would like to share, we can wrap up for the night. Also, if anyone has any prayer requests that they want to, they can put in the chat, or if anyone here on the Zoom call wants to add any prayer requests, I could be praying for those. I pray for you guys often and think about you guys very often and miss you guys a ton. All right, well, I will close in prayer, and then, yeah. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for this amazing campus life year. We just have had so much fun together, Lord, and bonding together and just blending together as a family. I've just been so impressed with students' willingness to just be honest and transparent with one another, willingness to welcome one another into the family, willingness to help one another as we are just going through similar struggles together, and to just encourage each other. Lord, I just thank you for that. And Lord, as we are moving forward into the summer, Lord, help us to choose to live intentionally, Lord, choose to invest in areas in our life where we need to grow, examining ourselves, not being afraid of the results, making the most of every opportunity, even during this crazy quarantine, and asking for help when needed, Lord, asking you for help, God, and you are able to help us in ways beyond even other human wisdom can help. So, Lord, we thank you for that. We pray all this in your heavenly name. Amen. All right, cool. Well, this was awesome. I'm so glad this worked, being able to do a Zoom call and YouTube at once. We made it without too many technical difficulties at all, so that was awesome. So a reminder, again, next week, we will be not doing a live stream, but we will be doing a Zoom call game night next week. So join that. We should have some different games set up, some that we've done before, some that we haven't done, and so it should be pretty cool. Cool. Awesome.
Jacqueline?
Yeah.
Hi, sorry